sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is BLACKWATCH with Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. BLACKWATCH. Let the show begin.
ISUPK.com is the website. I'm Commanding General YAHANNA, and I got the helm. We getting it in like we do every week, saying what nobody else want to say. Got heavy hitters in the building with me all day, every day. General Micah, Allah holding it down.
Christ, Shalom, Israel.
General Micah, I'm jealous of that green you got on. That green looking right on him. Don't that green look good on him? Green looking frosty on him. Uh-oh, we got Captain in the building, the killer himself, Akkad Abraham. What's going on? Good to see you hold it down. Big shout out to General Muhammad. He'll be back next week handling some beautiful family business. Big shout out to General Hazayan holding down the contracts across the country for us. A lot of going on. UPK is always on fire. We always crack-a-lacking. Brothers and sisters in the building. My main man, Marah, Yediah, and Ibad holding us down every week. These are some seriously consistent brothers. Don't make me a fool now. Y'all stay consistent. I'm scared I'm going to say it. They're going to stop. You know what I mean? Big shout out to everybody in the building with us tonight, man. All the officers and captains, man, doing it up. So, it's President's Day. All you loyal Americans, it's President's Day. When you think about President's Day, with all the brainwashing that you've gone through, do you think about what they've done? Do you think about what has been done by so many presidents in this kingdom, man? The main two presidents they celebrate for President's Day is George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. But there's a lot that went on with a lot of presidents. And even among them two presidents, so much of the story has been changed over the last several hundred years. First of all, George Washington had slaves. George Washington had 300 slaves, man. His wife used to have to move the slave when they was fighting the South, fighting for their independence. George Washington had to move his slaves from Washington to Virginia. They had to move them back and forth so that they could keep their slaves, because they didn't want their slaves to run away and get away. So they had us in chains while they was fighting the war, and they celebrated. And you wonder why black people mad about it. Now, listen, I'm not mad about it. I'm going to tell you why. Because unlike our brothers and sisters in the world who was brainwashed into believing that this country, you know, y'all listen to the song. What is it? This world is your world. This world is my world. All that old BS they was drilling in you from the day you went to kindergarten in the first grade. I never believed it anyway. If you believed it, then it was difficult for you to find out George Washington had slaves. It was difficult for you to find out that all they Confederate leaders that they made statutes to were actually murderers of God's chosen people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. That was difficult for them, right or wrong. But it wouldn't be difficult for you, man, if you did for 1 second, for one moment in your life, you stopped and you said, I'm going to put my thoughts and ideas and opinions to the side, and I'm going to open up the Bible and see what is God's opinion, man. What is his thoughts and ideas that's different from ours? I ain't telling you something that I created. I did not create the Israelite school of UPK. I am not the founder of this school. This school was founded long before me. This school was founded way back in the 1800s, man, and eventually established as the UPK in 1969. That's who we are. This knowledge of who we are been here, man. Growing and growing and growing and growing. I'm just the latest cat that got the helm right now through the grace and mercy of the Most High. Trying to put something inside of you, man, that hopefully will change your life. President's Day. Shame on you. George Washington had slaves. Let me read a little bit of this. The Fugitive Slave Acts were a pair of federal laws that allowed for the capture and return of runaway enslaved people within the territories of the United States. It was enacted by Congress in 1793. The first Fugitive Slave Act authorized local governments to seize and return escapees to their owners and impose penalties on anyone who aided in their flight. And let me tell you something else too, man. Not only, and just like a beast, this law that was enacted in Congress during your famous presidents also meant that they enslaved black people who was already free. Y'all tell me the movie. What's the movie I'm talking about? Came out fairly recently. They used that Hamite as the main character. Where a 12 years a slave, that was about a brother that was free in the North and somehow got caught up in the slavery in the South and spent a dozen years in slavery till they finally so-called came and got him. Man, we done lived the nightmare here, man. We done lived the nightmare here, and these people are mad that you even angry about it.
Right.
They angry that you angry about it. They angry that you even look at it like y'all are not right in the way you dealt with us. And which is why, once again, those of you that put your trust in Congress and your trust in Martin Luther King and the trust in these laws and stuff that they pass, man, you the blind leading the blind. You the blind. Y'all jump in any time too, y'all. Go ahead,
I was just gonna say that's why the book of Isaiah say that, you know, the Lord gonna bring death on them, widowhood and loss of children for the multitude of their sorceries. Because of that church, it makes us love these people and look at them like, I know when I was a kid, you know, and heard them same songs like "This Land Is Your Land," and that song From Sea to Shining, all that as a kid. They show you the pictures of the sun coming up and the beautiful land and the green. You ain't even know it's political. You ain't know it was racism ain't in your mind, politics, and you just sing it like it's a proud song, American song, because we not taught. Because the Christian church then put sorcery on all our parents, and you know what I'm saying? We children of slaves learning that Christianity, and they teach us to love our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And we learn these songs and salute the flag and don't got a clue to what we're doing. Because again, I had no clue on what these things meant or what these words meant. Star Spangled Banner, none of that. It would just sound like good American songs, you know. But again, I thank the Lord for you holding it down so we can find this truth and then start to see. And then, you know, the wool be pulled before our eyes and start to see what them songs meant and what they really entail and how they piss off the Most High. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we can start to do the right thing. You know what I mean?
And I can imagine, okay, as I look back at all my Betty White teachers coming up in school who was teaching me all this nonsense, I'm saying to myself, what was in their mind? Like in their mind, did they just love the songs? In their mind, did they just love the song like, you know, it was just a nice song? Or in their mind, did they look at it like they had to teach these nigga kids these songs so that their mind would be right to be functional in America? Like, listen, we done been mentally raped in this place, my God.
I believe that was the mandate.
We rape victims, man.
Right.
It's a lot to make sound like that. But mentally, man, they done destroyed us as a people with this. And now they mad. That's why they all mad with the critical race theory. That's why I would have never even tried to teach. If they'd asked me, I'd have said, what are you even trying to teach these people about this for? Because they done spent the last several hundred years brainwashing you to think and love the things that they think and love. Listen, even the cities, man, even how the cities are. Like, do you know in America right now, Blacks and Latinos are being pushed into cities with exuberant high rents. We're going to get to the story. And this has gone on. We ain't got to go to it next. We'll come to it. Just stay on your list. We'll come to it eventually. It's not that as big. I'm going to just make a point about it. My point is this. This is the bigger point. Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians was shoved on reservations, and blacks and Latinos mainly was shoved in these inner cities in attempts to get free from the South. And while you was in these cities, scared to even travel, they was out living a wonderful life in the countryside and the suburbs where you couldn't go. And some of you may not be old enough, but I am old enough to remember those days. Okay, I grew up in the Bronx, New York City. And in the Bronx, in New York City, when I grew up, there were certain places you couldn't go. There were certain places you couldn't go. We went, my parents put me in a school, in a middle school that was a mile away from where we lived, but it was a white neighborhood. And brother, we had to fight at least twice a week. Them Edomites, man, because we had to go 2 blocks up the hill to catch the bus to take us back to the projects. And going up that hill with them Edomites all along that block was hell every day. It taught me about Edomites, man. It taught me about poor Edomites. Poor Edomites hate you more than ever because they poor just like you. And they hate the idea that they just like you.
That's right.
And we had to fight them Edomites, man. It was ridiculous. And a lot of them was older than us, a bunch of dropout bums. But they was older than us. They dropped out of high school. We in middle school. Little, really kids. Right. And you got to act like an adult, man, and deal with these Edomites like that. And that's what these cops is doing out here, too, to these kids. We're going to read some of that, too. And then you're going to call us the racists because we bringing out the life that you made for us. You committed these crimes against us. Why the hell we wrong for bringing out what you've done and continuing to do? Right. Hell, you got black politicians and leaders trying to fill you with critical race theory. Why you ain't calling them racist? Christian church is the one that failed us mainly, man. I experienced it. I saw it for myself. And I ain't close my blinders to it and just say, oh, they just ignorant. They wasn't ignorant. They was preserving themselves. They was preserving the pain that they were suffering from being poor. And the way for them to vent that pain and preserve themselves was to put us down lower. And for us to not accept that lower state, we had to deal with them Edomites, man. And we dealt with them too. We dealt with them in some cases at a great cost. But we dealt with them, man. And it was the only thing we could do to keep our self-esteem up. Don't tell me about no President's Day, man. God. It got nothing to do with us, man. First of all, we was in slavery and them cats had us, man. You were a free black man. You living in Chicago. They snatching you off the street. Or if you was a cat that was drunk a lot or partying, they had a whole thing going on in Chicago where they had black women. Brainwash these black women, and these women would set these men up. They would go to clubs and bars and cat be drunk. They'd make him think he getting ready to go. He gonna get some. Right. He leave out with her man. A van of white boys come up, snatch him up. He wake up, brother. He's in the South in slavery. He wake up in the South in slavery. Somebody eventually gonna write a book about that. That's a true story, man. They had a whole team of them. They had a whole thing going on with that. The atrocities that have been done to us in this place are they innumerable, which is why they don't want to talk about it. They were so bad and so vicious. It's like, let's don't even talk about them no more. The 17 and 1800s was really the time of extermination in this empire. You understand? 1620 was slavery. By 1750, 1780, it was time to exterminate the North American Indians and blacks in this country. Latinos as well, but to a little bit of a lesser degree because they wasn't all the way in the circle yet. They was more contained on their islands, but eventually they became a problem too because they naturally gravitated to us and moved into the cities with us, and we got along in the hood. And which made it an even bigger problem, which made them hate the Latinos even more. Let me read a little bit more of this. I'll come right back to you. I'm going to get a little more of this, right? Now, check this out. All right. It said, here's what they said. It said widespread resistance to the 1793 law led to the passage of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. They constantly was passing laws against us. So they had another law. They had to renew the law in 1850. Slaves that were part of Martha's inheritance that could neither be freed or sold were called dower slaves, part of her dowry. Any children of the female slaves became part of the estate who would remain slaves until their death or the ultimate death of slavery entirely after the Civil War. So they saw the Civil War was coming. So they passed the law saying if any of these slaves have children, them slaves must remain slaves and be part of her dowry, which means she could, as she get old and get ready to die, she could go and give her slave off to whichever one of her sons or daughters that got married, or mainly her sons, as a dowry to the other family. Passing us around like cattle.
Right.
And this ain't never been paid for. And they make sure this don't get paid for because they don't want you to have justice. Instead, they turn around and give you the Christian church to pacify you.
Right.
You can't pacify the human spirit. And you can't pacify justice, man.
God.
You can't pacify justice. You can delay justice until the Most High step in and deal with you. Then you wake up with the coronavirus. You can delay justice. You ain't got to listen. Don't rush to court to give us no justice. Don't even worry about it. Don't rush to open up the coffers to give us no justice. Don't even sweat it. Judgment will come and get that paycheck.
That's right.
I don't care what you build in this earth. You leave it in the earth long enough, what happens to it? It'll decay and turn back into the earth. I don't care what it is. Give it enough time. Everything dies here except the Most High. Your injustice will die here by the hand of the Most High. Which is why, man, you need a new faith, black man, Latino man, Native Indian. You need a faith of truth. You need to find the Most High and deal with the truth. Let me tell you something, man. In the UPK, when I roll in, man, and I see all the brothers and see how strong and sharp and powerful they push it, one scripture comes to my mind. The scripture in Ezekiel where the Lord said, breathe into them the breath of life. This truth we learning in here, man, this thing, man, breathes the breath of life into you, man. You become highly motivated for what is right. You become highly motivated to see injustice turn back to the way it should be. You become bold in your words to say what is the truth. How dare you call me a racist? How dare you call me a racist? My people done suffered in hell for 400 years in this kingdom, man.
That's right.
I was born and raised in the mire. And I'm a racist? I ain't never put a hand on a, well, yeah, no, that's true. I ain't never put a hand on an Edomite. I had to think about that for a second. Not my, except when I was, doing in the sports. Okay, that's a different story. But I ain't in sports no more. I ain't never do nothing to them. How dare you call us racist, man? You understand? Well, we standing up for what is right, man. Let me get a little bit more about. Go ahead. You gonna say something? Please get in now.
You so right as far as pacifying. That's what I hear when I hear that critical race theory. Like they even try to begin to try to understand the cruelty that these people have done us. It's almost like something that they giving black people to just keep us blind, keep us asleep to the ones of us who accept that garbage, like that ancestry.com. Like because they erased your whole family lineage and tore your families apart and send your children to one area of the earth and your father to the next. Ancestry.com is just supposed to, make amends to all of that. And then all the slavery and all the violence and the police brutality, the critical race theory is just supposed to teach us to understand, teach white people to understand our pain. That's even just pacifying us even more. Salaki.
You damn right up. And the stupid notion that you're going to convince Esau to take up our cause is so weak. It's why our cause has always ended on deaf ears.
And again, sir, I blame that Christian church because America paints a picture like white Jesus and white God is so human and so humane and so understanding that surely if we plead our case to these people, because they got the blood of Jesus and they the same people as Jesus, they'll understand our plight. But they don't understand these scriptures. This Bible tells you, man, you go to this man and plead your case to him and ask mercy for him and remind him of all his cruelty and all his injustice. That makes him feel good. You know what I'm saying? He feel good and wanted to continue and would like to have it back.
And feel like you deserve it.
Yes, good. Feel like we made you better because of it. You should be appreciative. You shouldn't even be mouthing off right now. That's why we need it back, because y'all have felt out of line without that. Like this a different animal. Our people don't get it.
Yeah, and once again, without the Bible, you wouldn't get this.
Right.
Like, this ain't something I came up with. This is in the Bible, man.
That's
where we found this at.
Come.
You understand? We went to a school nobody wanted to take us to. The Bible.
Right.
We looked at it for what it was. Read it with a clear mind, without the brainwashing of this place, and found out we was wrong about everything we lived in this place, man. Andrew Jackson. Y'all a little too warm? You want to kill that heat? Y'all good? All right. Okay. Andrew Jackson. They got a statue of him up in the White House. I think Trump put that statue up behind him, right? I remember when he had the Gadites come up there to the White House, had Andrew Jackson picture on the wall. The genocidal maniac, the Joseph Mengele of the United States. President Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson had long been an advocate of what he called Indian removal. Like I said, they came in, took over the land, built up the colonies, enslaved us, which made them rich and powerful, and then turned around and went and genocided everybody that they could. Only through the grace of the Most High did you make it to the Emancipation of Proclamation, because they were shortly trying to stop it. And if they had not been more desirous of putting you back in slavery, they'd exterminated you, man. The only reason they didn't exterminate us in the 17 and 1800s because they wanted us back in them cages because the money was so good. So they didn't go kill us off. Instead, they fought their own government and lost. But now they want to come back with it with Donald Trump. Oh, they tasting it. They tasting it. Out in California, y'all heard about the militia in California? There's a militia in California in a certain town. I forget the name of the town, but it's outside of Los Angeles. Check out what they did. They turned around and started pulling recall votes. Because, you know, in California, you can recall somebody who was voted in office with a recall vote in many situations. In this one county, they started pulling recall votes and then putting militia members, basically white supremacists, in office in this town. And now the town is turning totally under the control of the militia. And anybody that's liberal is under the gun. And they said in some of these towns, Democrats got to meet reporters in secret because they can't, the town be all white, but some people be Democratic. But they can't go and tell the reporters we Democrats. They got to go act like they white supremacists too. Right. Like what the hell? What happened? What happened to Martin Luther King's dream? Where now white people can't even say, yeah, man, we Democrats, we don't believe in that white supremacy. We don't believe in militia groups. They can't even say it. They scared to death. And now them towns is flipping over. Why you trying to kill another brother in the street? Go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You say, so like we taught in the UPK, like the way the Lord is dealing with this place, you are going to have to choose a side. Yeah. It don't matter. Like that's naturally showing you that the Lord does not want all people together. Like you are going to have to choose who you down with. Black people are not going to be able to love everybody like the Christian church says. That's right. Like General was saying, white people are not going to be allowed to love everybody shortly. they gonna turn on their own people too. So lock it.
No, you right. Go ahead, jump in.
What Captain Nakata is bringing out is so heavy. I want to give a shout out to the officer in the car. We was on Clubhouse today, and these sisters, 4 sisters in the world in Clubhouse, there talking about who's supposed to defend us against the oppressor, who's going to defend us against China when the bombs and everything coming. I was breaking down to her, so was in the car, sir, that's what us in the Israelite school of UPK is for.
Right.
I'm like, you too busy trying to be combative, you know what I mean, with us, but we're the brothers that's going to stand on that front line and protect you. And all we want you to do is come into class and change your life and do it for the Most High Christ. So like it, sir, that's it.
Listen, like Salak, I didn't mean to cut you, but what you're saying is so heavy. Is the sad part of this is a lot of pain is going to be necessary for us to wake up. Some of us just so caught up in our lust, we just can't see nothing else. Like the only thing in our brain is, well, how does this benefit me? How can I do? How can I get some money out of this, or what could I do? And that's the result of suffering so long. Like the white man done turned some of us into just a rat. And you can't even help it. You just a rat. And that's just the mindset you got. It was only through the grace and mercy of the Lord that you come out of that mindset and then become an actual human being again. You know what I mean? And then you could really function and see the greater good and the more powerful strategy. You can get rich. I ain't scared of no money. You understand? Let's get some money. But the scriptures say that he that's striving for masteries is what? Temperate. Like you got to have wisdom and do it the right way. If you're going to be great, right.
Now, I got sisters in my family, sisters in the world over the years. I done told them the scriptures. They done seen our classes and I done explained things to them. Some of them had questions, and they straight up and down. I'm getting with the Israelites. I'm getting with y'all. I see y'all. I'm getting with y'all when it go down. But until then, pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, you know what I'm saying? It's like you saying, like they need some heat.
Yeah.
They need the Lord to bring heat.
And he know how to bring it to
them.
He going to bring it sweet and tight. And the bigger question they should be asking is, are we going to get with you when you decide to get with us? Might leave you on the side of the road. Just stupid ass.
They tried to get on that ark with Noah.
You're right. The door was closed. They pulling up the ropes. You know what I'm saying? When that storm came, boy, they were banging on the side of that ark. That ark was floating off the rock. Yo, we see you. You was on that. Right. The Most High Christ. Can you drop the hatch? Nah. We tried to tell you.
I'm not allowed.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like how the Lord say in the scripture, he said they be reveling and giving in marriage in the last days. Like when they come, they gonna be partying and think everything's sweet and fine.
John, you know, man. Let me get a look if I could. All right. Okay. Signal. She back. What you got? Too loud. It's frozen. Screen is freezing. Okay. StreamYard. I tell you what, is anybody in here on their phone? Has the show on their phone? If you do me a favor, tap out of it. Maybe we're pulling on the signal. Go ahead. If you could. The water, y'all. I'll give you a second, get back in it. Let me know what you want me to do. Okay, I see it. What vibe you getting? You getting the vibe to refresh or you good? All right. If y'all can hear me out there, we're going to take a break. Refresh this page. And come on back and get it in. Yeah, let's get it in. It's early. We got plenty of time. We look at it. Are you switching what?